Great. This exciting music mixed with the sound of my voice. It's almost like antimatter and matter meeting somewhere in the middle. Hi everybody, welcome. Welcome to the stream. This is gonna be an interesting collaboration, and it's going to involve... Wow. The music has the sound effects. Huh. Yeah, this is gonna be a little bit of a collaboration, nothing too crazy, but I have a special guest, or will have a special guest with me in just a moment, and we're going to look outside the boundaries of Super Smash Bros. Melee. So... should be fun. And I'll tell you all about what's going on. But first, let me introduce the guest. Hello.
Hello. Hey.
Hi. They know who you are, but you should introduce yourself anyway.
I am Shesez, host of the show Boundary Break. I do a YouTube series where I basically take the camera anywhere and try to find secrets and new discoveries to some of our favorite games.
There you go. That's a good intro. And then, oh no, I've seen everything. By the time, you know, by the time you've seen everything, it's over. You've seen everything.
Yeah, but there's always something to see.
Well, in this case, look, they're saying he said the thing. I love that. Well, I think there's always something to see. We're going to see some stuff. Your most recent episode was Crash Bandicoot, right? You found a bunch of cool stuff there, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're going to talk. I didn't watch it yet, but I want to talk to you about it while we're doing the thing.
Okay.
And I'll just tell everybody what's going on. So we're going to do Melee. We're going to take a look outside the game, the levels. We're going to look inside Yoshi's smelly egg. And it's going to be a little weird, but it's going to be, I think it's going to be cool. And after that, or maybe during that, we're going to talk a little bit about what Shesez does and how he does it. And should be fun. Now,
having fun already.
Well, that was quick. Man, I didn't even have to do any work. It's just fun forever.
This is going to be tough for me, man, because you're such a funny guy. So it's like, I'm going to be laughing. No, I'm not that funny. Listen, tonight, the humor level is down to a bare minimum. So I'll tell you what, why don't we get started? Thank you, Tony, for this cool intro screen here that I have, the collaboration logo that I like so much. And she says you're going to be watching on stream live, right, while we're talking? That's right.
Great. Okay, so let's do this. Now, this is a game that you've covered already on your channel, yes?
Like many years ago, yeah.
Have you discovered new things since then, or?
Oh, yeah, tons of new stuff, for sure. So, you know, once you share it with your audience here, it's going to be new to them.
That's true. It's going to be new to me as well, because I've seen a lot of your videos, and I mentioned your videos a number of times. And we should probably, like, start by talking about how we started talking. Right?
So do you want me to explain it, or do you?
Why don't you explain it, and I'll get set up here.
So honestly, first of all, I didn't know who you were when I started Boundary Break. When I started getting a little bit popular, people were saying like, "Oh, you look like Vinesauce Vinny," and I was like, "Who?" And I had to look you up on Google, and I was like, "Damn, he does look like me a little bit."
Or do you look like me? Or do I look like you? Or do you look like me?
I'm gonna say that I look like you because you came first. So, but then, like, you know, all of a sudden, people were coming to me on Twitter and stuff and saying like, "Hey, Vinesauce Vinny is mentioning you on his streams," and I was like, "What?"
I have.
So like every time they mention that, of course I'm watching the stream to see the mention, and like I'm like, wow, okay, cool, like this is awesome. And so like after like the fourth time you done it, man, I was like, well, if he's gonna keep like talking about boundary breaks, we might as well do something together, right? I mean, it's kind of like we do, like we're in a like a kind of similar genre. obviously we're not remotely the same as far as what the end game is, but like, you know, you mess with existing games for new entertainment, and so do I. So I was like, I think it would be a good fit. So that's why I reached out to you through email and just wanted to see if you wanted to do something.
Okay, now that's the thing that's interesting. Like, again, I've been memed into having a friendship with someone. Like, that happened with Germa too, where I make jokes of a certain kind and people are like, oh shit, Germa. So they memed me into hanging out with Germa, and now they're memeing me into collaborating with you. So I think it's cool, but regardless, we do something kind of similar. There will not be corruptions on today's stream, because corruptions for GameCube is a lot harder than you might think. And if we do, you know, stuff with N64, even that poses its problems. So corrupting and breaking boundaries both at the same time was proposed. We thought about it. Turns out it's a lot harder in practice than it is in theory. But, I mean, never say never. Now, I'm going to get this going in just a second here. So we have the optimal setup for boundary breaking, and I'm going to do...
Oh, before you start,
yeah,
boundary break this menu right here.
you want me to do that? Yeah.
Yeah, the character selection screen. Go for it.
So
what are
wow.
you seeing right now? Yeah,
It's like,
it says select. The word select is like flying through the screen.
oh, that's what that says. I'm wondering. Yeah, it's like 2001: A Space Odyssey, but for the word select. So we should probably tell people, like, this isn't magic. This is like a feature of Dolphin. But for some of the games that aren't on Dolphin, you have to have some special hardware, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about like PlayStation 2 games, that's almost always a cheat engine table that's made by very talented folks. With PC games, it can be cheat engine. In some cases, they'll make a very specific program just for a free camera, which is always a beautiful moment, but doesn't happen very often. But with GameCube and Wii games, we got like a built-in program for every single one of them. And it's just, that's how I basically got the series started.
Cool. I have a question. How do you reset the camera once you boundary break it?
That would be Shift R.
Shift R, okay. Yep, that's correct.
That work?
Yeah, even the, wow. Even the menu, like when you're selecting a level, is kind of strange.
Yeah, go to random and then look at the preview stage, because there isn't supposed to be one. So if you go to random,
yeah.
Look at this. I'm just like rolling it off the tongue here. So highlight random and now look off screen.
To over here. Oh.
There you go. There's an image that's never seen by the player.
This thing? What the hell is this?
That's the random stage. If you like, I never even noticed this like when I was playing Melee, but like when you select the stage, they do like a preview polygon image of the stage. And when you select random, obviously there isn't one for random, but that's what shows up when you select random. You just can't see it.
Interesting. It's like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, but it's also, you know, it's clearly just stretched grid. And also, it kind of reminds me of like an obelisk, so it's almost a little ominous and strange. Very deep lore we're discovering here, aren't we?
Also, in this, you might have noticed it already. I can kind of see it on your screen, but in the background they have like tons of words that are completely obscured by the menu screen. So like you have like Nintendo All-Stars. For some reason, the succession of letters ROT. I don't know what's up with that.
Rot.
But
Weird. Yeah, I see that. And then there's also some of the the logos, and just very strange. But I mean, when you know,
player OK, that's another one.
Yeah, when you go back to the reset though, you can notice it even just by rotating the camera. So this is an odd game anyway, in the fact that it has 3D menus that you can rotate around. So the fact that you can do that, you can almost kind of see that stuff anyway. Like the word royal is in there. So
that's true. Yep.
Yeah.
Very true.
I'm gonna start with I guess Princess Peach's castle.
There's some good stuff there. Well,
okay.
There's like it's kind of crazy how much they render for every single one of these stages. There's a lot outside the boundaries because they at this point they haven't crafted or rather, they haven't honed their craft. So they kind of overcompensated on what they modeled and rendered for these
So they
stages.
built too much.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
In later games, you notice that like there's not as much. There's still a lot to see. Don't get me wrong, but like with Melee, they just went out like completely bonkers.
Now the thing that's cool about this is, you know, there's some detail here that is surprising, but again, it's unnecessary. You don't ever see some of this stuff. Like in the foreground here, there's like some, you know, I mean, you kind of get
There's
a little bit of
bed.
yeah.
And I don't think you can see that.
I don't think I've ever noticed the flower bed. I mean, even in Mario 64, outside of Peach's Castle, there's not a flower bed like that. So, but yeah, they also, well, they didn't fully model the back of the castle, but there's a couple things here, a couple little like formations. You know, there's going to be an HD version of this in Smash Ultimate. That would be cool to Boundary Break, but I'd imagine Switch games are probably a couple years off.
No, you'd be wrong. Right now, there is options to mess with the RAM of Switch games. So right now, I'm kind of looking into doing a Mario Odyssey episode very soon. But
oh, cool.
Obviously, yeah. And I'm like talking to people, you know, trying to do whatever I can to maybe get a camera tool ready within the first week of Smash Ultimate.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Huge.
Yeah, that would be really big for your channel. And also, just, I think I would want to know what the hell's going on in some of the backgrounds. Like, considering now I've seen this and what kind of detail went into this, right? Which you don't even see some of this detail because the resolution is really not great on the GameCube when you're playing it, like, on the TV. You know,
yeah, exactly.
Back in the day, your imagination kind of just filled in the blanks where it was blurry. But the fact that we're going to get this level again in HD is pretty unreal.
Dude, I'm so excited for it. Honestly, great. Tournament of Bay is the one I'm really excited for in Smash Ultimate because I just love the way it plays. This one's okay. I just don't like the big pillar in the middle. Right. You know what I mean? But Great Bay, it's like, that was my jam back in the day.
Me too. Great Bay was one of my favorites. And also, I just love Majora's Mask. So the fact that we're getting like an HD version of an area from Majora is going to be pretty fucking cool.
Oh yeah, just seeing the HD turtle was pretty out of this world. I liked it. Oh look, Yoshi.
That's a hell of a thing. Yeah, Yoshi's a little crusty. Like there's some very obvious polygons going on here, but now you mentioned maybe getting Yoshi inside of an egg, yes?
Yeah, that's right. So yep, there you go. And now zoom into the egg. There should be something inside. There should be. If not, oh, okay. So Yoshi's an exception. Sorry. In Brawl, they leave behind his arms for some reason.
Oh.
Yeah, but in this one, it's just straight up. It looks like it's a texture that always faces the camera.
Right.
It's kind of cool. But yeah, Bowser will be one that should still have something interesting to show.
That's cool. All right, so I think we've, you know, got a taste for what's happening here, and I'm going to go back to the menu and try Bowser on a different level. Peach, and is this the one with the Daisy third eye, or is that Brawl?
This is the one with the Daisy third eye, but it depends on which version you have right now.
Okay.
Because Nintendo, this was like early days internet, and like early days internet. So when you do the upbeat with Bowser, you can like look inside of his shell, and you can see what happens to him as a result.
I'm a little scared. I hope it doesn't smell in
so
here.
You'll want to slow the camera down real slow.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. Oh my god. There's like hands. There's like his eyes kind of. I mean, he just. Oh, fuck. Oh, holy shit. Oh, dude. I don't like this.
I was gonna say like so early days internet was like, you know, oh, we found Daisy's third eye and stuff like that, and like there was pictures of it and stuff, and Nintendo back then was just like, we have to patch this immediately, so they did a revised version of Super Smash Bros. Melee, and there was a couple of fixes to the balance of the game as well, but like one of the things they actually took the time to fix was the third eye in the back of Daisy's head. So if you went and tried to look for the third eye in this revised version of Super Smash Bros. Melee, they got rid of it.
Weird.
And if you zoom this stage out, by the way, it's like a lot of people have been really interested about this because it keeps going upward. In truth, the mountain, quote unquote, is 2 slabs of stone that are really, really large. Shoot, there is a way to get rid of fog for the dolphin, but I'm trying to think how you would do it on your end.
I mean, even so, like, I kind of see what you mean. Yeah, the 2 slabs are absolutely way larger than they need to be, considering what the game's camera, is locked into.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because, like, they're supposed to represent mountains, but, like, if you zoom it out, you can see that it's like, it's a fully formed model of a rock, essentially.
I mean, even through the fog, I can see it. Like, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, you can see, like, the outline of it.
This is also really good for taking photos. Like, some of the best moments would be like this right here. Like, you can get in a little closer than you normally would be able to. Yeah, this is awesome. This is a really cool device. I'm actually kind of curious about a couple other games, but we'll talk about those later.
Okay.
What was your first intro to boundary breaking? What gave you the idea to start the channel?
So what happened was I was playing Punch-Out on the Wii, and with Punch-Out, most of it's on like a 2-button controller with the Wii remote. But for navigating the menus, you had to point at the screen, and that was really annoying. So I didn't want to set up an IR pointer for the Wii remote, and I was like, okay, is there any way to map my mouse to the IR pointer? And so I was going for the menus and stuff for Dolphin, and I saw the option for free look. And I was like, okay, maybe that is. Out of desperation, I picked that option. And that's when I discovered the free cam for Dolphin. And I saw Punch-Out from a completely different angle that's never been seen by players before. And when I saw that, it blew my mind away. And I was like, okay, let me look on the internet to see if anyone else has done this. Like, has anyone shown other angles of Punch-Out? Nobody. Not a single person. So what I did was I just uploaded a clip, a raw clip with no commentary or anything like that. And one of the 300 subscribers that I had pre-established before Boundary Break shared it on Reddit. And on Reddit, it blew up.
Oh, that Reddit.
Yeah, all that Reddit. It blew up on the Nintendo subreddit. And then I didn't think much of it because I didn't know like what Reddit really was. It never went on the website. But then all of a sudden it showed up on GoNintendo.com, which is a site I always went on and I always wanted to get featured on, but never was able to. And that's when they featured that, I was like, oh man, okay, I think I'm onto something here. And so inspired by that success, I made the first episode, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. And from there, it's just kind of taken off.
And how long ago was that again?
That was 2 years now.
Jeez. So it was a pretty, I mean, I would say that's quick in terms of, you know, it does go by very quickly, but that's also very recent. You know what I mean? Like for a channel your size and for starting out 2 years ago, that still feels like a fairly recent YouTube channel. Like, you know,
they give me hope, man. Thank you.
No, I mean, you're doing great work, and I really like your videos. The production's very good. You work hard to find cool stuff, but it's like you joined YouTube or you started doing this at a time where it's a lot harder to get somewhere on YouTube because there's just so many different types of YouTubers. So the fact that you were able to not only find a niche that is, you know, entertaining and interesting and somewhat educational, you were able to do so with, you know, production value, which is increased. You're a good host. You have good things to say in relation to what you're talking about, and therefore you have established yourself as a good YouTuber, and that's a hard thing to do. No, it's not with love, it's with love.
Wub. Okay.
Yeah.
I can feel all the wub. Thank you.
I'm not
sir.
trying to blow too much smoke up your butt, but I did just enter Kirby's mouth, so I'm a little bit out of sorts, let's just say.
You're a little gassy. Yeah,
A
it's gotta
little
come out
gassy.
the other end.
Yeah, now Kirby, he's got a very interesting thing going on here where you go through the mouth. He's got like a little mouth hole, and then the rest of him, not so much.
Are you playing as Kirby right now?
No, I'm Weege.
Oh, dang. Because I don't know what happens when you suck up a person into Kirby, and it would be really interesting to see if anything happens.
Well, we're gonna find out in just a second.
All right, let's do it.
First, I have to kill Kirb, because I was not quick enough to get the suck.
You got it.
Okay, so now Luigi is in Kirb.
Oh! You can slow. Oh, okay. Here we go. He's already transforming into you, but let's see if there's anything.
Nope.
That was very convenient.
Luigi just
okay.
disappeared entirely.
Yeah, Melee is a very different beast from Brawl. With Brawl, like, there's so many weird things that happens when characters go into themselves or characters go into another character. It's really, really interesting. For example, I don't mean to detract too much, but like when Wario bites somebody, they don't want the character to clip through the Wario character model, right? So what they do is, no matter what the character is, they'll shrink down the head to a certain degree. So if a character has a huge head and Wario bites the character, they shrink down the head to accommodate for that, which can be really hilarious depending on what character you pick.
Oh, that sounds fun. Did you covered that in the video?
No, I didn't.
Okay,
that was actually, I kind of covered myself later with Smash 4. I did kind of cover that with, yeah, I think it was with Wario. This is nice, man.
Still, okay, so yeah, once the mouth closes, Luigi disappears.
Ah, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's how that works. Okay, well, there you go. I like Kirb with a large chin. This is Kirby's best Thanos impression. So that's interesting.
I hate myself right now because I've seen your streams and I know, like, I'm sure your audience isn't used to somebody laughing at all of your jokes. But
it's gonna spoil me. Keep it up. I mean, usually don't have much feedback. I have to just kind of judge for myself whether or not things are funny. Here's a tip. They're not. Let's see.
All right, so with Termina, go inside the building.
Oh, okay. Holy shit.
I know.
Why?
It's an unused area. Yeah, I can actually explain this one for you. So with before the game came out, there was footage of Termina. I'm about to repeat myself. And what happened was, in the original version, the beta version, characters would walk through the building, and when they walked through the building, it would dissolve the front wall of the building, so that you could see the characters inside the building. But they didn't go with that for the final product, so they left everything inside the building, but they just never went with that idea.
Which makes sense. I mean, you know, that's kind of cool. It's very basically detailed, not anything special, but the fact that, you know, you can see that, like, that makes sense for the context of this level, how, you know, instead of just having to just walk around in front of it, you can go inside it, you can interact with it, hop on top of it. But I think I prefer this better. I don't know if I would like the idea of having to go inside there quite as much.
Okay, Sakurai.
I mean, please understand.
Yeah.
Waluigi is trash, is the please understand from Sakurai. So, now, before we talk about Waluigi, I want to take a look around here. So now, the turtle is modeled on both sides, which, you know, unnecessary, but okay. I guess if you really wanted to save resources, you could probably cut the turtle in half, but... I mean, oh, that's not true, because the animations, maybe the turtle, like, shows the full face.
Well, even then, he's such a low... like, this is all N64 graphics, essentially, for the stage.
It's still better than N64, I would say.
Oh,
but
it was, yeah, because he didn't have bulging eyes or anything like that.
Yeah,
so, you know,
but still very low poly compared to what you would see later on.
If you zoom the camera way out, you can see tries that are way off screen that aren't seen by the camera at any point. It's kind of cool.
You can see what?
You should be able to see tries. So if you keep zooming it out, I know that like it seems like you should be far enough at this point, but I think, yep, keep going further and further back. You see it yet?
What's a try?
Just a triangle.
Oh, I thought you meant, okay, I thought you were like a trihex.
For the water.
There you go.
So you can, there it is right there, which is really cool. Also, behind the stage completely, there's a white square for some reason. I don't know if it's meant for lighting or something, but this is the only stage in the game that has a white rectangle or square behind the entire stage.
I see it. Yeah.
Really
oh, wait,
cool.
no, that's the skybox. Never mind. Hang on. How far back am I going? There it is.
Oh, you found it? Okay.
Weird. Okay. Yeah, that's strange.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. And you don't... Yeah, it's behind the skybox, so... I don't know. I mean, the utility is anyone's guess. But, I like how small the moon is. You know? Someone in chat was like, wait, that's a 3D model? The moon? Yeah. I mean...
Oh, yeah.
It also, like, you can see the way the lighting is with it, too. Like, it kind of fogs out a bit, so... Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the fog really comes into play. I don't know if it would interrupt the performance, but if you wanted to disable fog without, and I know you don't have a macro key, but if you went to graphics and then you went to enhancements, there's a disable fog tab, and if you pick that, you could see absolutely everything in the stage, so you wouldn't get like blinded by fog.
Oh, there it is. Oh no, now it's too late. I've seen everything. There it is. Yeah, and let's see what it looks like when I zoom all the way out. Okay, yeah, that's much better.
It's the sexiest version. Yeah, it's basically like that's one of the banes of my existence for my show is fog. Like if someone makes a camera, the first question I always ask is, did you disable fog? Because if you don't disable fog, then I can't zoom the camera out without it looking like a bunch of blue or gray or white.
This house too, like you can't go in the houses, but there's a little bit of detail, like not behind the houses, but also there's a bit of a forced perspective going on here too. So like it looks like it's further away than it is slightly because the it's like on an incline, which is a trick they use in a lot of movies, like on one of the Star Trek movies, to create the illusion of a bigger hallway. They had the room incline up in a way that it looked like it just extended further because it was getting smaller. And so really? Yeah, that's
I have to look that up because I love that stuff. That's like that stuff amazes me, and that's another thing too is I'd love to boundary break movies at some point. Before you leave this stage, make sure you check out the birds too. That's one of the things for my show. Is birds is a very common detail in video games, but they oftentimes can't be seen in their fullest detail by the player because they're always flying high in the sky or moving around just way too much for you to even notice how much detail they actually have. But the birds in this stage, they have like long pointed snouts and they have like marks behind their eyes as well.
Yeah, that's weird. There's no reason for this bird to be this detailed.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So that's part of the fun is always seeing how much detail these birds have. I'll say like for the Mario Kart episode that I did, Mario Kart 64 had the funniest birds of all of my show because like they had anime eyes. They had big wide anime eyes that you would never be able to see.
For Mario 64? And that's not in like, I guess, is there any other anime eyes in Mario 64?
Nope.
Like, I know they have big cartoony eyes for a lot of things, but not like that.
No.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's those like big, sparkly, excited eyes.
Maybe that can be
like in an anime.
Maybe that could be a sequel to my Toilet Kun video. I'll make Bird Kun.
I'll tune in, man. I loved the Toilet Kun episode.
I don't know why, but I'm glad you do. Thanks. So I'm waiting for the giants to show up so I can.
Oh, that's a good. Well, I've never done that, so that's a really good idea.
Yeah, I want to see what they look like. It's probably not anything like out of the ordinary. They're probably just going to look like themselves when I get closer, but it's still cool. I mean, it would be cool to see how much detail there is. While I'm doing this, you also have Boundary Broke Chrono Trigger, which is my favorite game. So I'm wondering 2D versus 3D. When you do a 2D game, you have to like check different sprite layers and you have to look around the map and stuff. How do you, well, first question is, how do you look around the map? Is there a special tool for that?
So yeah, it'll depend. You know, for the audience that does never even watched my show before, really quick. Normally I do Boundary Break with 3D games because that's where I got my start. But I didn't want to limit myself to it, so I started experimenting with 2D games, like Vinny just said here with Chrono Trigger. And the way that a 2D episode of Boundary Break works is I'll disable layers. With Super Nintendo games, there's oftentimes like 4 to 5 layers to a game, and it's up to them whether or not they want to fully utilize it. Chrono Trigger is one of those games where it's fully utilized up to 5 layers, and you find all sorts of really weird stuff as a result of it. So that's a big part of it. And then to answer your question, it's usually walk through walls codes that'll finish the other half of the job, which is walking outside of what the map allows you to see. So normally, obviously, there's like a wall or a cliff in your way in an RPG, and in Chrono Trigger's case, you use a walk through wall code. You turn off the sprite layer, and you can walk around. Yeah, you can walk around any part you want.
This is very interesting. You see the giants are like clipping. Let me see what this looks like. See, now you still can't see this from the stage. So the giants get spawned in a little bit early, like just as the moon starts falling, and then they start to become visible. They they just get lifted up. They get foisted. Hoisted would be the proper term, and they kind of sucks a little bit. It's not anything.
They give it a big group hug.
They group hug it, barely. They're barely touching it. Some of the stuff is like some of their arms and limbs are going through the moon, and then they turn, and then they walk back to their respective locations.
The giants from Majora's Mask, because it always remind me of that weird educational video Muzzy. You ever hear
I remember there's a commercial for that all the time. I hated that commercial.
Oh, me too. But it made me want to actually buy a Muzzy tape. My parents
Advertising works. Advertising works. So very interesting that was. I feel like, you know, they're so far in the distance, and there's a little bit of fog, and also with the blur of the N64, you're not exactly, you know, you're not going to see everything that's happening in the distance anyway. So I think it's fine that they kind of are a little shitty.
Yeah, well, that's how it works with a lot of games too. Is like if something's way off in the background, they oftentimes make it like N64 levels of detail. Like it's to optimize the game as much as possible.
Yeah, like look at like a lot of GoldenEye. When you get closer to them, the detail pops in. Mario 64 has a really low polygon version, so when the camera's far out enough, Mario turns into a low poly Mario.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really his Maro. We've called him M-A-R-O.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I talked about him on my show too. Though, yeah. If I had seen your stream, I definitely would have referenced.
It's okay. It's really funny to me how some of the low poly models are just barely anything more than a couple of like tubes. It's like cylinders connected, like, you know, but I get it, and that's a good way to really, you know, that happened a lot for N64 and PS games, and it was a really good way to save resources, because again, we never really noticed this stuff. Like, I never noticed Maro when I was playing it on the N64, because the fucking thing was so blurry. But then when you play it on, like, when I streamed Mario 64 most recently, I streamed it with a resolution increase on, you know, Project 64, and it looked so good that you couldn't help but notice Maro.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, make sure you pan the camera out as much as possible in this stage because it's formed inside of a box.
Cool.
The whole idea is, yeah, I never understood this as a younger kid, but like this, the whole stage is supposed to mean that it's like it's taking place inside of a box, but like if you zoom the camera out, it's more apparent than ever before.
Oh wow.
Yeah, with a top,
it's like a diorama.
Not all stages have their skyboxes have a top to their skybox.
Yeah, and it's taped.
So cool.
You know what else I like? I love that they animated, or not animated, but modeled. Actually, no, that's just a sprite. But even so, they went through the trouble of creating a stand for the cardboard trees. Like, the camera doesn't get behind there, does it? During gameplay?
You're gonna have to test it, because I don't remember that at all. It's funny. That's the thing that's about this game, is like there's so many details that you have to like really investigate to find. So in a case like this, I don't even know, because I never thought to look.
Well, now we're gonna play Melee from behind the stage. Oh wait, that's not happening, is it?
No, I mean you can zoom it out far enough that it'll work. But actually, what's really cool that I'm noticing right now is there seems to be a rendering on the opposite end of the stage. You see that? There's no reason for that.
No, I didn't. Rendering in what way?
It's modeled all the way around. So like, the platform.
Oh yes, yes. There you go. Yeah, the platform is totally 3D. It's got again, they could have just cut it in the middle. But oh, you know what though? Actually, when you reset the camera and you look at it, you can kind of see that it's supposed to be like a cylinder.
Oh, like, well,
yeah,
I understand that. Of course, it's supposed to be a cylinder, but the camera would never reach behind to see the textures on the back. Yeah. I guess I should also mention that to any viewer that's never seen my show before. Developers of video games are really good about optimizing video games. So, like, if you had a stage, or rather, you had a video game where the camera is very controlled, you can't like rotate the camera or anything like that. They oftentimes do not have textures or rendering in the back end of a model if you're never going to see it anyway. So to see it there in that stage, that's kind of a rarity.
We may have an explanation. Someone in chat says, when you play the story mode, the camera gives a preview of each stage before you play, which might explain why they modeled so much of the stages.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So that's a potential explanation.
Yeah. Someone in the chat
and photo mode too.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
What were you saying though?
Oh, someone was mentioning ONET, and there is something in ONET that it's like a classic. It's why I never think to mention it, because like early days internet have already caught this, so I never think to mention it to my audience at least. But in ONET, there's a hidden rice ball in the stage.
Huh.
It's really cool.
Okay. Also, it's kind of funny to me how, first of all, the widescreen that I'm doing is screwing up the reflection on the fountain, but as soon as you boundary break slightly away from the fountain, the reflection gets totally fucked up.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. It's so weird too.
I can't explain that. I'm sure there's someone that can, but like I've never asked. So, but yeah, reflective elements, which is almost always on water. The second you move the camera out of its intended placement, it for whatever reason just warps the reflection on any water surface.
Kind of cool. I mean, it's also really good to learn this stuff from a game design perspective. It's like just really interesting to get into it and see what like little tricks and cheats they use to get all this stuff fit in the game.
I love this stage because there's individual pixels for all the stars, and when you zoom it out, you can see them all bunched up together.
Yeah, I was just noticing that. I really appreciate that. That's really surprisingly effective. Again, you don't really notice it while you're playing, but when you... like, I guess when you look around, if you pay real close attention, you will see the pixels moving out of sync with each other. So it's not just a skybox that with like stars painted on. But again, that's like kind of above and beyond. Which doesn't seem necessary. but they did
I
it.
really hope this stage comes back, by the way.
Oh, this one was good. But there's so many stages like it.
Stages.
I think they have the option now where you can turn every stage into a form of battlefield, so... But still, I love the way the stage looks. I love the music. I absolutely would love to see this back.
It is pretty epic. Yeah, and I mean, like, I get it now. These days, they actually have Final Destination stages with really good music and stuff, but, like, this was the Melee stage with the epic music and everything. This was, like, the stage to, like, end a dispute with friends and stuff.
Right. Yeah, that wasn't just Battlefield, or rather, Final Destination. Like, there was some character to the stage. Not that Final Destination has no character, but it's a very, like, alright, this is the end of the world. We're gonna fight.
Yeah.
This is good for Curb fans. I hope it comes back too. So now, we move on to, I think, a fun one.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I'm excited
I have some
for
suggestions for you.
Corneria could be fun, but go ahead, I'm ready for suggestions.
Okay. I would recommend Star Fox Venom. So it's funny that you would mention Corneria, but Venom is also a really good one.
Let's start with Venom and see what happens.
Oh, you'll see.
First off, we see the dong in its natural habitat.
You ever watch Back to the Future?
Yep.
That scene where Doc says, like, you know, "I'm gonna see some serious shit."
Marty! Yes.
Yeah, Marty!
Is that Rick or was that Doc?
Oh, well, you know, it was
same thing.
Hybrid.
Same thing.
Yeah. Whoops. But yeah, like right here, there's an enormous ring for this stage. It's enormous, and in fact, it's so big that the dolphin can't handle everything that you're about to see.
Holy shit!
Right.
Oh.
But
it's like Halo.
But the game. Yes, that's a great way to describe it. It does. It wraps all the way around. And the only thing that's limiting you from seeing everything right now is the emulator itself. There's nothing stopping you from seeing this entire ring rendered all at once.
That's crazy.
Except for the emulator.
That is crazy. Yeah,
and if you
it really is cool.
Press start and you can see the Great Fox like flying through very slowly through this enormous ring, which is like the coolest thing.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my favorite one so far.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if there's anything really worth like finding outside the boundaries because there's just so much to look at.
I mean, it's just basic Star Fox stuff.
Sure.
Lava.
Get your hot lava. You know, you get your I don't know what Venom really is made of. But.
Venom is made of like poisonous, like I think it's supposed to be like a toxic planet, right? That was maybe like, you know what Venom reminds me of a little bit?
What's that?
Venus.
Like the planet Venus?
Like the planet Venus.
Okay. Does Venus isn't made completely of gas, right? It's actually has a solid surface.
It's got a solid surface. It's got like lava. But I mean, the greenhouse effect of the atmosphere makes it like super toxic and hot. But the thing about
it's
this,
like my last girlfriend. No.
Oh, the jokes. But the thing about this that's funny is this is the last planet anyone should be fighting on outside of their ship. You know what I mean? Like, this is 100% not okay.
No.
Which leads me to believe, now this could be some lore, Star Fox lore, there's a shield being projected around the ship, and the only reason that they die on this stage is when they get knocked out of the shield.
Now, were you thinking about this when you were a kid, or is this just something you just rolled off the top of your tongue right now?
This is just now. I tend to make a lot of lore for the stream, and
what
very silly.
That would take me like at least like a week to come up with.
I don't know, man.
No, that's great. And I can believe it too. That's the funny part. There was something I wanted to show you too. Like this is like really good.
Also, apologies for the yawns, everybody. I don't know why that's happening. I'm gonna try to.
He's bored of me. That's
no, no. You're good. You're good. The game's entertaining. I guess it's just one of those days. So go ahead. I'm listening. What's next?
So okay, what you want to do is you want to get out of multiplayer. You want to go to training mode.
Okay.
No contest. Melee.
Training mode. All right. So 1P mode. Training.
Training mode.
All right. Any specific character?
Yeah, pick Bowser. Bowser's
Okay.
a really good one for this.
Donkey Kong.
Okay.
Okay. Now go to the Super Mario Brothers 2 stage.
Kingdom 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now with Bowser, go outside the boundaries, but don't kill yourself.
Okay.
Now zoom the camera in on the bubble that shows you where your character is. But the stage itself is cool too.
Yeah, I'm gonna look through the stage in a second, but first, I'm gonna get that bubble. Oh, it's real close.
Get that bubble, boy.
Way closer than I thought. Oh my god. There you go again about the low poly shit.
Yep. These only exist for this feature right here. Every character has one. They have a low poly model, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, I'd say. Oh shit, Birdo pushed me out of...
Yeah, that'll happen.
Okay, Birdo has been removed. That is very interesting. That was extremely unexpected as well. I like how the spikes are just like sprites.
And also, like, the armbands are, like, way off of the arm.
Barely, you know what? Yeah, they barely fit, and somehow I never noticed this as a kid. Like,
No, me neither.
you wouldn't ever think to even examine that, because again, it's blurry, it's like, you know, so small. But then you zoom in there, and Bowser's mohawk is, like, absolutely out of control. So yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna check around. Oh god. What has happened here? Okay, so I'm gonna take a look.
You could literally waste the whole stream just looking at all the characters and their low poly models, but there's so much more to see, so.
I bet they're good too. I bet there's a lot of cool ones.
Oh, you bet.
Wow, Dong is ready for action. This level itself is relatively simple. I like...
And clean.
Yeah, I like that it was kept, you know, kind of faithful, and there's not a lot going on, but it's got layers. You know what this reminds me of? I have a couple of these now. Do you know what a shadow box is?
No, what is it?
So this dude makes these things called shadow boxes where he has 3 layers, and he takes the sprites and backgrounds from... oh shit, from the games, and he makes them into like paintings, like 3-dimensional paintings. So I have one for Super Metroid where he cut out like Samus, and yeah, it's basically 3 layers just like this.
Oh, I get what you're saying. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like you're taking like a 2D moment out of a Super Nintendo game and you're kind of adding depth to it.
Yeah.
So that you can kind of see it in the real world.
Yeah, and they're really cool too because the way the light hits the sprites, it's really nice. Also,
Dude, that sounds awesome.
Did you ever see the emulator for the NES that makes things 3D?
I did. I never used it. Did you?
I used it a couple times. It's not too bad. It's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, the 3D is just like sprite 3D. It's not... it doesn't change the gameplay, but I think you would enjoy it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I probably would, honestly. Dude, that's like, what, like 8 years old now? That's like really old. That was before I could like have
Yeah.
the hard drive space to download it.
Yeah, I've also corrupted using it too. Like I've corrupted NES games in 3D, which was just a really weird combo. And check out Corneria now. So, what would you say was your favorite Boundary Break yet? I know that's probably a tough question to answer, but maybe choose a couple if you have to.
That is really tough. The Pokemon Snap episode I'm particularly proud of, not because of any of the discoveries really, but because so many people requested it. And not only was I finally able to deliver it, despite the fact that there was a lot of hurdles in the way, but also I managed to get the voice of Professor Oak, Stuart Zagnut, from the Pokemon anime. Yeah, he introed the show for me in character as Professor Oak.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and that was just like an amazing moment for me. So like I love it for that reason. It's like the behind the scenes stuff. But as far as discoveries, ooh, I don't know. I think maybe Super Smash Brothers Melee or Brawl. Like with Melee, as you kind of showed to the audience already, like there's a lot of stuff in the menus that's like crazy. Now, I mean, like you showed them some stuff for the character select menu, and as you saw, you know, you can use the C stick to move it around and like kind of see the stuff that you would normally see. But even in the start menu, where you obviously can't use C stick influence, there's like it says Super Smash Brothers in the background. It's really cool. That's actually why I suggested this one is the one for the stream. But
I'm gonna take a look at that now because it crashed. So, do I sound like a robot?
No, you actually sound really great.
Okay, good, because that was happening before.
My numero uno, though, is probably Pokemon Snap.
Okay, good answer. What was the one you would say you discovered the most amount of new material? Like, you say, okay, excluding Smash Melee and Pokemon Snap, which episode did you learn the most? Like, did you discover the most stuff?
Yeah, I think, well, okay, that's a little bit of a tough question to answer because, like, I'm trying to think of an episode where I got the most amount of new discoveries, but, like, the biggest new discovery that I ever got was out of Punch-Out. Ironically, the first game that ever got me into this whole thing, I finally did an episode on, and the biggest discovery that, like, it's never been documented on the internet, like, not even the Cutting Room Floor, like, the Cutting Room Floor now published it, but credits me as the guy who found it. And like this thing is so huge. It's have you played the game, by the way?
Punch-Out on the Wii?
Yeah.
No, believe it or not, I never played it, but I watched many streams of it, and so I'm familiar with it.
Okay, cool. So like there's a character named Piston Hondo, right? And
I played the original. I played the NES version so much when I was a kid. So
I love that fucking
Piston
game.
Hondo is like one of the... Isn't it Piston Honda in the original?
It is, and then like they changed it because they were worried that they were going to get sued by Honda, which is so dumb. But like, by the way, since you're on this stage, go visit the village in the background. There is a village. Oh, you did?
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's cool.
But yeah. So with Piston Hondo, which is what they changed the name to, he reads a book in between rounds, and I took the camera to on the inside of the book to see what he's reading, if anything. And normally, no, there's nothing there. Usually, if anything, it would be like a blank page. But what was inside that book was amazing, dude. Did you see that episode?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so what was inside that book was actual panels of the Sailor Moon manga.
Oh, that's awesome.
There's no credit to Sailor Moon in the credits, so it's clearly 100% illegal for that to be in the game. But if you look inside, there's legitimate panels that you can match up to the actual Sailor Moon manga, and it's in Punch-Out. That was like my number one, and I flipped out.
That's an amazing discovery. Yeah, that's good, and especially because it is such a weird... The fact that it's Sailor Moon is fine, but what's weird about it is there was no permission, which is not fine. Like, the fact that there's no accreditation to it whatsoever, that's incredible. That's not something you'd expect Nintendo to do, but I think it was just a cheeky developer or a cheeky like artist who was just like, you know what? Let me sneak this in here. No one's ever gonna see it. And
Well,
then,
it was
then you did it.
It was an American developer that made the Punch-Out Wii game, and so like obviously it was like some American developer that was like, you know, it'd be cool the Japanese character reading a manga, you know, and like they just copy and pasted Sailor Moon mangas into that book, and then like probably Nintendo, you know, with supervision was like, no, we'd have to get permission. We don't want to get permission. Don't include it in the game, and because you can't see it. They were probably like, oh, you know, whatever. We don't have to like we don't have to purge it because the player can't see it anyway.
Sure. Yeah, that's the other thing about it. Like, if it's not visible, if it's not fun, why bother? As Reggie once said.
Oh, I love that, man.
Now, this level, I'm gonna do Hyrule Castle.
Yeah.
But I've seen this level a million times, and like, considering you can zoom all the way out, I feel like there won't be too much to see here.
There won't be too much to see, Vinny, but there's some things that I had to ask myself. Like, there's things that I've always wanted to know as a kid. So anyone in the audience, you know, you're going to be helping them out right here. So when I was a kid, you know that in-between area before the bottom half of the stage and the top half of the stage?
Yep.
There's, in that in-between area, there's 2 gates. And the camera won't allow you to see what's in those gates. If you want to take the camera over there and just show the audience what is in those gates, it'll probably satiate a lot of people's curiosity who had the same questions as me.
Which gates are you talking about?
So again, I know. But in the in-between area, so like you go to the bottom area. Unfortunately, there's like a 4-second delay for me. But like if you go to the bottom area.
Bottom.
Yeah. Yep, you got it. And then far left side. And then the next platform up from the bottom area on the far left.
Oh, over here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you guys ready? Here we go. Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. But at least you got the answers. That's the big part too. That's the thing that like I struggle with my show is like there's so many interesting things to show the audience, but there's obviously so many questions that people have that they want answered. So like a part of me has to acknowledge that, but every time I do it on the show, I have to say like, you know, you guys want to know, yeah, there's nothing there, but like there you go. And yeah, the nub on the analog stick is also a 3D model.
Interesting.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I think even just finding out what a thing is, like even if it's nothing, it's still something. Like you now know it's nothing. That's cool.
Right.
All right.
But not as cool as actual stuff.
No, but I mean that's the thing with Boundary Break. You probably have to. At times, there's probably not as much as you would hope for. So you still have to figure out like, okay, what's interesting enough to put in the video, and like how do you determine? Has there ever been a game where you did the boundary break, but it wasn't enough for a video?
Yeah. The first time that ever happened was Poke Park Wii. At the time, I was like on top of the world. Every game that I covered, there was something kind of cool. Also, for this stage, Vinny, if you unpause it, you can track the Lakitu. The Lakitu will give you something cool to see. Anyways, someone in the early audience was like, Poke Park Wii, and I was like, okay, cool. I never played the game before because it was a downloadable title. Doesn't really seem like it's going to be a good idea. Well, let's do it. And I spent a week trying to find interesting stuff for that game. And there was nothing. There was absolutely nothing. It was like a small island, and they also did a zoom out of the island at the start of the game, so the game already gave you a zoom out. I wasn't going to offer you that. And there was nothing outside the boundaries whatsoever. So I wasted an entire week trying to make an episode out of Poke Park Wii, which was impossible.
Okay.
Yeah. Pokemon. Pikmin was a really tough one too. I had to combine 2 games together because there wasn't a whole lot to see for either one of those games.
Even with Pikmin? Like you would think Pikmin might have a bunch of stuff in it.
You think so? Like with the burrowing Snagnet and stuff like that. I'm a huge fan. But like, yeah, no, everything was pretty optimized. So there wasn't a whole lot to see. There was things there was really interesting stuff, between the two games, and so when you combine them together, you made a 10-minute episode, but just one.
Sure.
No.
Sure. So, okay, so there's times where you get a little bit, but then maybe you have to figure out a way to pad it out with maybe, like in this case, 2 games. So that makes sense. I mean, that's a good way to do it and still give people, let's say, their money's worth for the video, right?
Yeah, that's how I like to put it.
So I'm just going to try. I mean, if you see me do a level and there's anything in particular that, like the, you know, the Lakitu, if there's anything like that, anything cool,
yeah, for sure.
Be sure to stop me.
My man. No
Okay.
problem.
All right, my man.
My dude.
My fam. As long as we don't start saying my fellow fam, everything's going to be fine.
Don't worry, I never say that.
Okay.
I love when you zoom it all the way out because it looks like it's just a diorama, you know? The cool thing is how many people are watching right now? 8,000? If out of 8,000 people, there's one talented individual who can do crafts, if you made a diorama of this moment right here and you sold it on Etsy, dude, you'd be all set.
Yeah, you'd make some serious money. But you'd also have to use a lot of ice cream cones. Or cardboard.
For what?
For the ice cream cones.
Yeah. Where are the ice cream cones? I don't see them. Oh, for the mountains? Is that what you're talking about?
No,
cool.
down here, the bottom of the level. They're like, it's like ice cream cone, like it's like waffle cone texture.
Vinny, can you make me a diorama? It sounds like you kind of know what to use as materials here.
Nah. Okay. No, I'm good.
No problem.
Creatively, but the only thing I could do is make a burger in a hot beef injection mold.
Is that what you had for dinner tonight?
Made from Japanese candy, which, by the way, the sequel to Toilet Kun is now available.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet, but I want to.
Just saying. So that's the only arts and crafts I know how to make, sadly. But, I mean, all you need are waffle cones. That's it, just waffle cones. Let's see. Next we have. Okay.
Go with Onet.
Okay, I did Brinstar, so I'll do after Brinstar.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Yeah, again, this is the delay, so.
So I'm just noticing it's very simple. Like the geometry in the background is very simple.
Hmm?
But there's some really good weird shit happening here, like this brain.
I always thought that was Mother Brain. What did you think?
I don't know. I guess I just thought it was a thing. Like I didn't ever like consciously think like, oh, that's Mother Brain. I just thought it was a pulsating meat thing. Whether or not it was a brain, I wasn't sure.
Pulsating meat.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. Mother Brain usually has a face. So.
The chat is like exploding with Vine meat. Is that a pre-established thing?
Yeah, meat is a bit of a story. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to explain it on stream. However, if you had a thing for Twitch called Frankerface Z, it's an add-on, you'd be able to see like another 28 emotes or so, including Vine meat.
All right.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, anyway, I'm actually playing through Metroid Prime 2 at the moment, so the fact that I get a chance to see some of the Metroid stuff here is interesting. This whole level. How you doing with? Oh, go ahead. This whole level always seemed very like generic Metroid. It's not anything specific to the series, like any specific game. It's just Metroid as a whole, which is cool.
It's kind of like because you're right, because like that brain in the background, you'd have to be like, is it Mother Brain? I don't know. And then like on your case, you're like, it's pulsating meat.
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely. It's like. It's as if like a toy maker was like, hey, yeah, we need to make some Metroid stuff. What do we do? It's like, okay, we need some like gross, brainy stuff, you know, some smegma.
Pustules. Of course you need the slime. But that's the cool thing about this is, I mean, it reminds me of Metroid 1, which is, you know, what I think it's supposed to be going for. Brinstar Depths, right? So, I mean, it's cool. I think it's a successful level. It really delivers the Metroid feeling well enough. Okay, so next is... Oh, no, that's Brinstar. That's Zeebs. Just Brinstar. Yeah. Brinstar Depths is with Kraid, right? Okay. So next is Own It.
Yeah, yeah. because there is something specific. Like obviously, there's so much to see in that stage. Like it teases so much. So like when you start exploring, you're good. But if you pause the stage right now and you go to the flower bed in front of the drugstore, it's gonna be really hard to see. So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to go inside of the flower bed. You're gonna have to slow down the camera really slow. There you go.
Okay. So I'm in.
Could be somewhere around there. You'll
there it
eventually
is.
find it. Okay, cool.
The fuck?
Yeah, really random Easter egg that will never be seen by the player, but it's there. Oh,
Donut.
there you go, folks. Jelly donut is what people are saying.
Or,
Is that another meme?
Rice ball. I guess they're no, not that I know of.
Okay.
But it's still very random, and I mean, there's items in the game where you can eat that, right? Like in the food stuffs.
Yes, sir.
So that's strange that they would just throw one there. Just no one would ever know. No one would ever know.
It has to be like a developer like gag or something like that. Like I don't think they players to find that.
Apparently it's a translated Pokemon reference. They called a rice ball a jelly donut. So it's
okay.
Bad localization, they're saying.
Gotcha.
So there's a lot going on here. I always loved looking at this level because there is, and I remember this was before I ever played Earthbound, that I would play
What did you
this.
think of Earthbound, by the way, real quick?
Well, I streamed it about a year and a half ago. It was my first playthrough, and I genuinely loved it. It's great.
There you go. Good man.
You too?
I mean, if you like Chrono Trigger, you have. Oh yeah, it's my favorite game.
Yeah,
So yours is Chrono Trigger, mine's Earthbound, I guess.
And Earthbound and Chrono Trigger have a lot of similarities. There's like this great, like there's this like sci-fi thing that goes through both of them that's really cool. There's the alien thing. It's just fantastic. Then there's the prehistoric area in Earthbound. So they have a lot more in common than you would think.
Yeah, when you put it that way, yeah, for sure. And like, yeah, there's time travel in general. Like
Yeah.
at the end of the game, they
Oh,
go
I
back
love
in
that
time.
part. The end of the game of Earthbound is crazy. I love that. But this is cool. I mean, they did a really good job capturing own it.
You know, I always pronounce it Onet, but like I don't try to like ever tell someone that they're pronouncing it wrong because no one's ever told you how to pronounce it, you know? But like lots of people, I'd be like, oh yeah, it's Onet. And then there's always going to be like a subset of people that's like, don't you mean like on it or a want? I'm like, oh, but
Yeah.
I refuse to believe it's want. Like it can't be that, please. Because that would be like the worst pronunciation of the name.
It would be so bad. But, I mean, you know, that's kind of the gag they're going for with the towns, the first 4 of them. But still,
Yeah.
don't make me pronounce it want. That sounds like another thing that you don't want to talk about when you're talking about, like, you know, video games. You don't want things that rhyme with want. But anyway, oh look, game store. Game. The game is fucked.
Game. Doesn't the announcer in this game say that? He's like, game.
Game. Over?
Oh. Dude, hit me up with some of your Super Mario Super Show impressions, please.
Well,
I know this is kind of random, but like
you
were
have
just
to
hitting
give me a little bit of a premise, and maybe I can hit you with something.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna do like a really bad Toad impression from the Super Mario Super Show.
God help us all.
We're gonna.
I do a bad Toad.
But-
My Toad is ear-piercingly terrible, so you're good.
Well, I think the actual voice is ear piercingly terrible too. So okay, here we go. Ready?
Yep.
Hey Mario.
Holy shit.
Yeah, Toad, what's going on?
Why ain't I in Super Smash Brothers?
God damn it, Toad. I told you 1,000 times. You're not special, Toad. Every Nintendo game these days is just Toad this, Toad that. You got a blue Toad, you got a red Toad, you got a green Toad. You're not special enough. Not even Captain Toad could make it into a Smash Brothers.
Well, I mean, Mario, you kind of got a green Mario, so I don't know what you're trying to say here.
Hey, what are you talking about? No. I'm a separate person. Also,
Sure you are, Luigi. No problem. You're my favorite Mario. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
Don't worry, Luigi. I promise you're not just Green Mario. I swear. On Mama Luigi herself, I swear.
Also, your Toad is reminding people in the chat about Marge from The Simpsons. It's like,
Oh no,
Homer.
Marge! my Homer Simpson is the worst impression ever.
Marge. Yeah.
It's both of us have bad Homers. That's okay.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I can do early days Homer. That's about it, though. Oh, yeah. That's the tough part. I mean, like, for my impressions, I can do, like... Jeez. I can do one line from Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
And it's like Soink Scoob.
It's pretty good.
That was kind of weak. That was weak.
I'm Reggie.
Oh, that was good.
We're both like, I think we're both like 6 or 7 out of 10 when it comes to our Scooby-Doo impressions.
Yeah, and then like to the average person, we're like perfect. But if we were like to try to get a job, it would not work.
We would never be able to. No. But that's okay.
No,
I mean,
but-
it's not bad. I mean, there's definitely, there's strengths and weaknesses. Like for some reason, one of my strengths is Stewie from Family Guy, and I don't know why.
Oh, do it.
What do you want me to say? Oh God, what the deuce? What is this stupid level? Oh God, no,
Ow.
my show isn't impressive anymore, is it? Oh God, nobody watches it anymore because it is unironically not good.
Something like that.
Dude, 10 out of 10. That was great.
Yeah, I don't know
Holy
about that. I'm working at it. I got a lot of Seth MacFarlane voices. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah. But there's
That's
definitely
awesome.
there's varying degrees of. You have like some decent Stewie I can do. I get a couple lines with Peter, and then the rest of the show I don't really have. So, Canadian Peter, sure, that's him. So this level, kind of interesting, but not a whole lot to look at. It's just all the stuff that you zoom by.
That's a stage that loads in segments. So, like, it's
Yeah.
not that great.
I don't think Pokemon Stadium's going to be all that amazing either, but I think it's
No,
still...
Pokemon Stadiums is, you'd be wrong, my man. It's actually pretty good.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's a lot more detail here than I expected. So first of all, a lot more of the stadium is modeled than you would think.
Yes. And if you take the camera very, very slowly inside the stage, you can see that there's a white platform that's meant for the transitions between various versions of the stage. And it's very hard to see that because it transitions so quickly. But as you can see there, it's fully textured and modeled, which
Yeah.
is really cool.
Okay, so that's a lot more than I expected. The other thing that's kind of cool, like the amount of buildings and detail in the background, it's like really high for, again, what is just kind of a, battle stage with a cool stadium vibe. There's like I don't even know what this is, but...
Oh, dude! So when I covered the stage in the Brawl episode, I posed the question because I know how the internet works. If you ask a question on a YouTube video, there's gonna be like 100 people that answer the question for you. So that is from something in Japan, I believe, and during a holiday season they light it up blue.
Oh, okay. So it's apparently it's
Yeah.
the Tokyo Tower, or yeah, that's cool. And the fact that it's in Pokemon is, well, unexpected.
Right.
That's pretty cool. Anything else that you're aware of, or?
Yeah. Let me take you through it, my man. I know you wanted to get back to Metroid Prime 2, so I don't want to.
Well, tonight I'm
Fair
doing Mario Tennis, which is basically torture.
Oh, yeah.
But I
I
will.
bought that game.
I will boundary break a little bit of Metroid Prime 2 while I still have you here. I'm just curious to see
Alright.
if it could be done.
Sounds good to me. Go to the trophy vending room area.
Okay, so trophy. Are there any other stages that are? I mean, I'm probably gonna do most of the rest of the stages, but before I do
Sure,
that,
go back. You can go back to. When you go back to stages, I'll take a look at what we have left, and I can let you know what are some of the most interesting ones out of the bunch.
okay. So let's start with this.
This is kind of cool. So, one of the details of this mode is that there's a pattern behind the lottery machine. that doesn't grab a lot of attention, but when you move the camera, you can see the pattern very, very well, and you'll notice that it constantly changes too.
What do you mean pattern?
So, okay, so the machine itself is not that interesting, but if you like looked down and zoomed out.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean. So the pattern looks like a flower.
It does now, and it keeps changing over and over and over again. You'll see.
Oh, I've already seen it change. Yeah, that's interesting. It's like a lotus flower. It's like the circle of life. It's like this is namaste shit.
It's like some Lion King level shit.
Yeah, time to meditate.
Okay. So anyways, we can bounce out of that.
No, very interesting. Again, not anything that you would notice because the camera
You wouldn't notice the lotus?
wouldn't. Wow, that's good. That's like a Vinny tier joke. Very good.
Appreciate it.
I'm gonna hit up Mushroom Kingdom very briefly.
Okay. Sure.
So, Mushroom Kingdom, again, another recreation of Mario 2D. The pipes are 3D, are polygonal. Then you have various layers here, but otherwise I don't think it's anything
Dude, you got this. You want to take over my show for me?
too impressive. No, it's okay. I'm good. I gotta. My new gig is opening shitty candy and weird toilet things.
You sure you don't want to take over that 300k subscriber base? Like, yeah.
I'm good.
Right.
I can use a couple less subs to be totally honest. But hey, thanks anyway. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's okay. Hey, anytime. See if there's anything else that I really think you should check out. Oh, go to All-Star mode.
Okay, I'm gonna take a look at Brinstar Depths real quick.
Sure.
Because
So, it's kind of, I'm sad to say that you always nail down those Yoshi shots. Sad to say, like with Kraid, he's not hiding underneath the stage. He gets, I think it's called out. And do you know what culling is?
after a certain moment, they get summoned to the stage.
No, it's not quite like that. With culling, the character model exists in the space. I'm sorry, I just hit my microphone. They exist in the space, but they're completely invisible to save on. I believe it's GPU. Every game struggles with sourcing power from either the CPU, the computer power, or the graphical power. Culling saves resources on one of those two, and I believe it's the GPU. Please tell me in the chat if I'm. Yeah. Okay, it looks like it is. Looks like it is GPU. Awesome. Okay, cool. And so like Kraid right now is called out. So he is underneath the stage, but you can't see him because he's called out. But the second that he gets called into the stage, you'll see the moment in which the culling is removed, which, you know, whatever.
Which I've given up on. But it's still something that it's interesting to know the reasoning. So I appreciate the explanation.
No problem, my man. I understand. Yeah, Foresight is a really good one too.
Monotoli. There's like a lot of. I mean, this game has a surprising amount of cityscape.
I just wish it looked more like Foresight. That's like my big thing. Because Foresight was never at night. There was Moonside. But...
Yeah, this could be Moonside if they wanted it to be, but I guess that's kind of a cool concept. Like, in a way to combine the two things, they just have a dark time Foresight. But it's alright. I mean, the level itself is just a lot of city stuff, a lot of very simple polygons. The moon looks cool. Nothing crazy, but fun. Next...
Do zoom out before you... again, I got the 4-second delay, so never mind.
That's okay, I can do a quick zoom out.
Because people love it. That's like...
Oh, no, that's interesting.
Because again, it's like seeing a diorama of the stage.
Seeing it like this is a little bit more interesting, actually, yeah. Turns out the moon was flat. Oh, God damn it. Crashed again. So I have a question for you.
Sure.
While I'm loading this back up, when you started noticing people were interested in your work and say, oh, wow, this boundary break stuff is pretty cool. I want to see more of it. Did you, like, what did you decide to do? Like, how did you decide to bring your channel? Like, did you have to learn how to do a lot of editing? Did you have to learn how to do a lot of the stuff that you're doing now on YouTube, or did you already have a background in this stuff?
I had a very small background in it. I did a little bit of dabbling with editing and stuff like that. I had really bad videos and stuff, but like once I got the audience, the cool thing was is that when I started out, a lot of people were in my side of the ring. They just wanted to see me succeed, and I was very acceptable to criticism. So I was like, guys, if you know anything you want to see, like whether it be like scripted videos or anything like that, let me know what you want to see. And so I would read the comments like religiously, and every single suggestion that they would give me, like, would be like, oh, we'd rather like it be a little more scripted. I don't like the, you know, the pauses in between you thinking or whatever. I took all that criticism and I used it to improve the show. So as far as editing goes, I knew a lot, and then when there was something, I just grew. I'm sure you know too, because you do the YouTube thing too. But like when I wanted to know something, I would just Google it, and thankfully with the editing software that I use, it just like every time you had a question for something, there was an immediate answer. Oftentimes with a video tutorial too. So yeah, I grew with the channel for sure, but like I had some predisposition.
So what about like when you kind of figured out how to edit, like, so you had to Google stuff. That's the thing, like I learned how to edit by Google. No one really taught me, but I also kind of, you know, when I started the YouTube thing, it was very similar. It was like, okay, what am I going to do on my channel? And at first I had no idea. And then I realized I liked streaming more than making YouTube videos. Like, making YouTube videos are fun, but I'm a live streamer by nature. I think it's what I gravitate most naturally to without forcing myself to do stuff. So over time, you kind of just like continue doing what you do, and then eventually you figure out what you want to do. I think you found a pretty good, like I said earlier, you found a good niche for your work, but your editing is on point. And you know, the thing about boundary breaking is it's highly dependent on whether or not the tools are available. So when I started doing corruptions, it was just a program called Corrupt, which was fun. I mean, you know, it was like you had to find a lot of stuff, and you had to figure out, like for me, I had to figure out exactly how to use this program by figuring out like the data in the ROM of the game, or is it RAM? I don't know. Regardless,
I say RAM.
It was very, very difficult to learn that, and I kind of did, and we got some decent corruptions at first, but only later when the Vinesauce ROM corruptor started happening, and when other people... I'm not ashamed to admit that I had a lot of help to get where I am, and I love those people so much because they built the Vinesauce ROM corruptor, which was, again, talking about like the tools that make what we do possible. That corruptor was like really great, and then, you know, people like Wienerless Steve, and then later, like, that's his name, right? I forget that that's weird for people. Yeah, Wienerless Steve did the Mario 64 corruptions, for, you know, so he's great at what he does. But then other people like Nary, and then eventually Irkluzar built the real-time corruptor. So eventually, the programs started getting better and better and better, and it was through the community. So I helped popularize corruptions a little bit by making them like a little bit more visible, editing them, and finding like really good initial ones. But it's the community and people who figured out how to build these things that turned it into what they are now. So
oh yeah, the same thing happened with boundary breaking. So it was like, again, my start was with the Dolphin. It was built in, which is great. And then after a while, there was other games I wanted to cover so badly, and there just was no camera available. Now, there was always a community of people that were able to do it, but the community for free camming was so small. But it wasn't until like I popularized the genre that like people started coming out of the woodwork and being like, let me help you, you know, is there any way I can get credit for doing this? I'm like, absolutely, you know. And that was the weird thing. The two is like, I'm sure that you gave credit to what was it, Wienerless Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you gave like full credit to all these people that put in the hard work. And that was the thing that I noticed on YouTube a lot, was like I would see things like, oh, here's a mod for something, and I'd love the mod, but I never knew who made it. But the YouTuber would show off the mod, and like as a YouTuber, I made it a philosophy to be like, if someone is going to take the time to make anything for the show, they need to have credit for it. And that was a big thing for me. And I think having that philosophy really changed things for the free camera community, because like now that people knew that it's like, okay, if I put the work in, people are going to know that I made it. That like, again, it reinvigorated like the free camera community.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. Now that's something that I can appreciate, because again, it's been similar with corruptions. Like, I'm not the only one that does corruptions. In fact, I believe PewDiePie did the Wienerless Steve corruptions for Mario 64. So they got a big like bump in recognizability from that. And the idea that people have submitted corruptions over the years and helped like actually solidify a corruption community, which it's still kind of small as far as I'm aware, but I'm happy to have helped. But I'm also happy to give credit where credit's due, because people do a lot of hard work, and corruptions are not easy. And I would imagine programming a fucking free camera is also not easy. So that's a good philosophy. I respect that, and I have you know, obviously I can relate to it.
Yeah.
Now that said, this level is absolutely fucking insane. There's not a whole lot going on that I haven't seen already, but it's just so weird seeing it from a distance like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you turn it on its side, there's like a cool tunnel vision thing going on.
Too late.
Well, every single time I was like, Vinny, you should check out this. Oh, I already, I bounced.
Oh, we did this one already. Okay, so now, is there anything else left for me to do?
Yeah, go to the All-Star mode. If you can. If
Okay.
it's there. You have to go to the first player mode and then...
So, okay, single 1P mode, and then, what was it, All-Star?
Yeah.
Where is that?
Ooh. Is it not a 100? Oh, no, yeah, go to regular match. All-Star mode.
There we go.
Go. You just have to defeat one opponent.
Okay.
And then it'll bring you to the rest area. Now, the rest area doesn't allow you to move the camera around in any sort of way. So, the rest area has always been very ambiguous. The player was never allowed to see everything there is that the area has to offer. So what you're about to show the audience is a lot of what many, many, many players have never seen before.
Cool. Okay, let's see. Okay, so here's the rest area. Wow, it's massive.
Yeah. It reminds me of a Windows background.
Yeah, it kind of does.
There's all sorts of neat stuff. You already kind of got the camera pointed on it. There's like the fountain, the bench, the light. Those are all things that you would never be able to zoom in on if you were playing this normal. But if you want to give the player a reference, if you were to remove the free camera for a moment and pause, and then try to move the camera around, you'll see just how limited it truly is. Like it's pretty insane.
Oh yeah, you really don't get you don't get anything. There's no wiggle room at all. So the fact that they built so much of this but yet restricted so much of the player's camera, that's kind of weird. But again, a really little obscure location that, to be honest, I totally forgot this existed. Like, I played lots of Melee, but I forgot about All-Star mode, and I forgot about this rest area entirely. But
yeah,
pretty cool.
This was like, so I'm a super Nintendo fan. I love Nintendo, and like, so something like this never leaves my mind. So like when I'm making an episode, I know to check for this. The tough part is when people request a game I've never played before, like over and over and over again, and I finally cover it, this sort of stuff isn't on my mind, just like how it wasn't for you.
Right. That's the same for corruptions. Like, if people tell me to corrupt games that I've never played before, I usually don't know what to do. So luckily that's changed a bit, because now other people, you know, that know the games can find corruptions, get me good ones based on their own personal experience with the game, and then it's cool. But I still don't have that personal connection with the game, so it's not quite as good.
Yeah, for sure.
So, what's next?
Let me see what else I got on my little itinerary here. Oh wow, yeah, actually you've covered everything that I thought to include. If you want to go back to the stages real quick, I can pick probably one more that might be interesting for you.
Okay. Go for it.
Okay, just waiting for the screen to pop up. Got that delay. Jungle Japes would be a good one. The sunset one?
I did that one already, right?
No, the sunset one.
Yeah, I did this one too. But is there something cool in here that I missed?
Yes, there is. So if you go to the outhouse, you'll notice that there's actually a render for the poop to go into the river.
I did miss that. Oh god, you're right. there is a hole for the poop to go into the river.
It's very efficient. Those monkeys are really smart.
Oh my god. Also, Cranky Shadow. Kinda cool. Didn't see that one before.
Always drove me nuts as a kid. And then you go, of course, you can always do a zoom out too. Like, it's the simple things that really like pleases a lot of people.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just seeing the shape of the level and like how it's set up. It's a really nice looking level too. Cool.
Yeah, well, about to reveal too much of myself. I was about to say I love sunsets. What does that matter? What was underneath that sun though? There was like some. Oh, I know what it was. Never mind. It was the reflection of the sun on the river. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Also,
That's neat.
man, I haven't
But
seen
you
a
see
sun.
how it works there?
It's
like,
really cool.
Yeah, it's always top layer. So that's how it works. It's like even though it's clearly behind the stage, when you're viewing the stage, the sparkles off of the sunset will always show up on the front, which is neat.
And yeah, the fact that it goes straight down from the sun is interesting, because when you're playing the level, you don't really see that. You know, you can see the reflection, but you wouldn't know that it's just a thing that's free floating in space like that. So, pretty cool. That's exactly what he just said, Vinny. Yeah, I know. So anyway, anything else?
Go back to the stages one more time. Maybe we can find something pretty cool. Oh, you know what?
People are saying adventure mode stages.
Yes, and that's exactly what I was about to suggest to you too. So you know what? Forget the stages, Vinny. Let's go to adventure mode, because it gets pretty good on the stage one.
Okay, I don't want to do too much of it, and I want to.
No, you won't.
You did a bunch of it, right, on yours?
No, actually, you're gonna be good.
Okay, because I was
Yeah.
gonna say I could just recommend people to your channel, and you know they can check it out. But anyway, yeah, I'll check it out real quick.
No, honestly, if no, I won't say it. I was about to be like a hard plug. I was like, no. That's not.
Yeah, no, it's fine. You have my permission. Go ahead, hard plug.
I was gonna say, like, if you like Smash Brothers, definitely check out my Smash Wii U episode. There's like I checked out every single stage in that game, so there's like 30 minutes of content that you can check out. It's like really good.
Cool.
If you want,
might have to check
go
that
for
out
it.
myself.
Word. Just type in Boundary Break on YouTube. That's how you'll find it. So some of the things that you'll find here is, yeah, you got the Toad Boy. At the start, obviously you have the wall that's pressed up against Link. The camera doesn't pan far enough for you to see just how high the wall is. Things like that really interest players because, again, the camera doesn't show you that. So it shows you right there just how tall it actually goes. In the background, you can see the golf course.
Yeah,
I never
mean,
thought to check inside the pipe.
they're just sprites.
2D textures. Yeah.
2D textures.
But you know, it's funny. Like, so that's the funny thing, right? Is you're in control right now. So like to you, you're like, it's just 2D textures. Like, you know, there's so much more that you could see. But to a player, or rather a viewer, if you were like, you know, it's not fully modeled, which you might think because of the standard definition on an old TV. It's you can show up close and personal that it's a 2D texture, and people find that really interesting. It's sometimes I forget that can be pretty interesting in itself.
Yeah, no, I mean, even the little aspects I can imagine people being into. Like, when I watch your videos, like the Chrono Trigger one, there was stuff that I knew already, but even the stuff that I didn't know, which was, like, kind of small, I was still interested, because I was like, oh, I never knew that. That's something that I've looked at 1,000 times, but I had no idea it looked like that from that angle. So...
What were some of the things, can you recall?
Nope.
Fair enough. It's been out for like several months now, I think. So like,
I think the one that I liked the most was probably anything on Zeal, but specifically the treasures, like the island where the treasures were. Like, you did a pretty good job at covering Zeal, and I've already looked up, like, I would go on Chrono Compendium for hours and try to figure out, you know, every little detail of, like, beta development and anything that was not included in the game that was cut. So the fact that you covered a lot of that in video was cool.
There was one thing that I covered that was not mentioned on Chrono Compendium, I think. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't mind being wrong.
And I don't remember a lot, so I might not know, but go ahead.
But in the Kingdom of Zeal, there was like a doorway that wasn't used. It wasn't opened up. But like if you remove layers, you could see that there was a doorway that was meant to be there, as well as a top layer.
Yeah. I remember the doorway, but that was not... I don't believe I've ever known about that. That was like brand new information.
So there you go. Yeah. And that's the point of the show, is like, you know, sometimes there's not going to be a whole lot. Oh, that's pretty cool. Like that perspective.
It's like a new... It's like a new Zelda game.
I was just like, I'm freaking out!
That was pretty cool. Alright, so... it says here you really need to show the home run contest that wasn't shown on the episode.
That's
true. I'll take a look at it, see if there's anything special going on there.
It's kind of cool. It's worth it. It's just not mind-blowing, but it definitely is, like...
That's fine.
There is something to see.
Ready?
Gotta make it Ness. Oh, it's Kirby. That's fine.
So now... It's... I mean, it's massive, but it's also, I guess, it generates as you go. Like, so when you hit the thing, it'll continue generating the level. Look, it's like divided into chunks, yeah.
Chunky boy.
Yay.
You could zoom in on the audience, I suppose. Like that's something that's really difficult to see from far away.
Home run contest. Ready?
Use Wizard Foot, P-H-U-T. Yeah, that's a good one. The Wizard Foot. This says Wizard Foot. This is what... It's a long story. I'll have to tell you about that one day along with meat.
It kind of sounded like This Is Halloween, but with
exactly.
Wizard Foot.
That's correct.
Okay,
yes.
cool. All right, I got it.
Speaking of meat, doesn't this cloud formation look a little bit like meat, guys?
Ow!
All right.
Ooh, what was that?
Huh? That was meat. Don't worry about it. All right. Well, that was a lot of fun. I'm gonna stop playing Melee now.
All right, cool.
Very interesting, and I feel like there's a lot in that game to look at.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In a short amount of time too, because like there's games with a lot more to see, but like you'd have to invest like 20 hours in order to do it. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a lot.
I thought that Melee would be a really good one.
Melee is the one that I think works because you can choose everything from the beginning. Yeah. But I can imagine you have to play through entire games sometimes to do your research, right?
Yep. I every game that I play through, I have to complete so that I manage to catch everything that I could possibly get.
That's definitely tedious.
Oh, for sure.
There's when it comes to corruptions, a lot of the corruptions that we used to do back in the day, like the early corruptions, were just the first level of Mario Brothers, or like the first area of Mario World, the beginning of Zelda. And so you'd have to like kind of make save states and corrupt from there in order to continue doing the stuff. Also, I'm trying to load Metroid and it's not, the shaders are compiling, which is weird. I think
It's weird.
yeah, it was working instantly last time. Now it's compiling shaders, so I think I'm going to pass on it because it's at 1%, and it's been on 1% for like 30 seconds.
That's so okay. Yeah, no problem, and I understand that. That's so strange. But like, yeah, you don't want to waste your time on that. I get it.
It sucks. I think maybe next time I play Metroid for real, I'll have a little I'll have a look behind the curtain and see if there's anything going on.
Give it up. Let me know if you find anything. That's one I haven't covered yet.
Let's see, is it because I turned off the fog? That's interesting. Maybe. None of those options are actually checked at the moment because the game crashes. But that's okay. We can check it out another time. I think it'll probably be mildly interesting to take a look at Metroid Prime 2. I really want to see what Samus looks like from the front. You know what? Well, that sounds weird, but you know what? Like, because it's a first-person shooter. I wonder if it's just a disembodied arm, or if there's an actual like model there. Like, I think.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. I mean, I covered Metroid Prime 1.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
Oh, it's one of my least viewed episodes. But it's cool. It is cool. Like it's just the arm cannon, which you don't get to see very often because if it's ever a first person shooter for my show, people oftentimes just make no clip. I don't know if you're fans or you know what that means, but
yeah, well, in Half-Life, no clip is a given. You know, like you just no clip all over the fucking place.
Right, but what you do to pull that off is you're in control of the character, not the camera, and so like whatever weapon you have equipped will stick with you. But in the case of Metroid Prime, that wasn't the case. So like you could take the camera outside of the arm cannon and see exactly how much is rendered outside of what the player's meant to see, and it's not a lot, but it's still really cool to just see it, you know, from another angle.
Cool. Yeah, I like that. I definitely want to take a look at Metroid Prime 2. I feel like it would be very similar to what you said Metroid Prime 1 was like, but I'm very interested to see what your video for that game is like. So I might check that out. I think I watched mostly your I watched like the Final Fantasy one, you know, Final Fantasy 7.
Let me ask you this, because I wanted to ask you this entire time. What's your favorite episode? What's the one that actually got you hooked? I want to know that.
Probably Final Fantasy 7.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to look through here. I'm going to look at the ones that have a red. Okay, so Metal Gear Solid, Ocarina of Time, the sequence breaking ruins the timeline. I like that one. Diddy Kong Racing Glitches, which was good because I streamed that around the time that you released that video.
That's crazy.
Final Fantasy 7 was my favorite just because it's just really interesting to me. What Shy Guy looks like without his mask, off-camera secrets for Breath of the Wild I watched, and I don't think I saw the Pokemon Snap episode, but I think I will. So those are the episodes I've watched. I haven't watched a ton of your videos, but I've watched like a good maybe half dozen, like so somewhere in between there. I'm looking through now, and it seems like, yeah, the stuff I've watched was mainly the Nintendo stuff mixed with Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy.
Awesome.
But you do, again...
Clearly, I got to put more RPGs on the table so that you keep watching.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even... Like, the more I think about it, RPG is not a genre that I go to anymore. Like, I definitely have my favorites. Like, so if you did Final Fantasy 8 or 9, I would check that out. If you did 6, I would watch that.
I have 6.
Oh, then I have to watch that.
Yeah, do it up. It's actually one of my worst episodes, so...
All right. Well,
maybe you can skip it.
At least you're honest. But anyway, I just want to say that you should keep up the good work. and I really appreciate you coming on the stream tonight and showing me some of the cool stuff that's not readily available to see in Smash Brothers Melee. So thank you for your time.
It was a pleasure, man.
This was a lot of fun.
You are a delight, so it was great.
Maybe we'll do it again someday.
I would love that. Maybe with more preparation, we can actually combine the two. You know?
Might be cool. I think if something like that is possible, we'll find a way to do it eventually.
There's got to be at least one game.
I'm sure. People want me to show you Meat Cam, and
All right, let's do it.
I don't know why they want to do that. Okay.
It's not a ding dong, right? As long
No,
as
it's absolutely not a ding dong. No. But it looks like one a little bit. Hang on a second.
Sure.
Okay, so continue watching the stream.
I am. Yep.
Okay, now. I don't know why my chat wants you to see this so badly, but there's Meat.
Oh, he does kind of look like a ding dong. So what is this? Okay, so how did you conceive this? I have to know.
I didn't, but I'll tell you the story anyway. Also, this is the laggy version, so Meat is very the frame rates are bad. It's very sad. All right, people are saying that you should run, and they're not wrong. I'm going to tell you that there's an image.
He looks like E.T.'s sad cousin.
Kind of. I'm not going to tell you the full history, but I'll say that I found an image. I showed it on stream, and it said, the image was like my meat when I open the 4th incognito tab for the night or something. And it was the picture of the sad meat, the sad face. And so I showed that on stream, and then they liked it, so I made a Meat Cam, and I just put the picture in the corner, and then I gave him a party hat and like a party popper, and I guess people, I don't know, why do you people want me to tell this to him? He's a nice, respectable man, and I'm telling him all this.
This is some awesome lore. I'm learning a lot of stuff right now.
Well, I'll send you the meat picture, the original, the OG meat. But first, I need to find it. I don't know where that is. So when I find OG meat, I'll send it your way, and then maybe it'll make a little bit more sense. But
some serious canon right here. I'm intrigued. Tell me more. How far down the rabbit hole does it go?
I think Fred Knudsen can probably make a fucking 30-minute video about meat. So, speaking of down the rabbit hole, yeah, probably a lot of lore, yes.
Awesome.
All right. Well, that is the end of that.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Oh, hang on a minute. I got the meat picture. So I'm going to send this to you, and I'm going to say that this was not my idea. My chat just memed me into showing you this image. So enjoy. There's meat, and God bless.
Is that from a movie or something?
It's from apparently a commercial from 1999 or 2000. It's a MSN commercial. It's like a worm. So there you go.
Oh, did you make the render for the 3D model?
I don't know who made that, and they never revealed themselves. They just called themselves Sad Meat. So there you go.
The internet is a wonderful place.
It is. Okay, now I'm done. So
No problem.
all right. She says thank you, and I want to just tell people to check out your channel, so they can just type Boundary Break in YouTube and get your channel. Yes.
Sure. All right. Thank you so much for having me on, man. It was a lot of fun. So,
Thank you. I really appreciate it. You have a good night, and I'll catch you around.
Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your stream, my man.
All right. Take it easy.
Take care. You
Bye.
too.
So that was good. That was good. Quality, like 9.8 out of 10, dude. That is. I hope you enjoyed the combo. Boundary breaking is, I mean, it's fun. It definitely has its work if you're going to play like a long ass game. But for Melee, I loved that. That was great. I'll maybe do it again one day. Maybe we can combine it with corruptions, like he said. Who knows? But like I said, if you want to check out his channel, just Google Boundary Break, and I'm sure you'll find a lot of stuff that you might enjoy. So I'm going to take a quick break and come back with Mario Tennis Aces, or as I like to call it, Mario Tennis Salt Intake. Be right back. Stick around.